video, I want to talk about root cause analysis. What do I mean with root cause analysis? If you've been using the Net Promoter Score, or maybe also the customer effort score, but it really stems mostly from the Net Promoter Score, you know that there are two ways to figure out, okay, but what really drives a high Net Promoter Score? And Net Promoter Score is the question, would you recommend company X or Z? So you tend to have two ways to figure out what causes the NPS. So what is the root cause of that score? Let's say the original way of doing this was to have one or two layers of actually a list of root causes. So you get the question, would you recommend company X? And then you give a score, right, on a scale of 0 to 10. Then you get a question, okay, what is the reason that you give that score? And you get a list. It has to do with customer service, or it has to do with sales, or the offer, or any other topic, right? So you list all the topics, and then often you have a second layer of root causes where if you chose, let's say, customer service, you get a subset. Okay, was it the employee? Was it the waiting time? So these are two layers of root causes. Nowadays, more and more organizations are having a mix or replacing that list of root causes by an open text. So you still answer on a scale of 0 to 10, what score do you give for the Net Promoter Score? Would you recommend us? And then an open text why. And more companies are using that because they are saying we now have AI that can easily analyze thousands of open answers. But the risk of both root cause analysis with the lists and the open text is that you're getting rational answers. So if you ask me as a customer, why do you give that score? I start thinking about it. I start rationalizing my answer. I think, well, I'll give an 8 because, Pete was really friendly. But we know that human beings are not very rational people. So even if AI is analyzing thousands of open answers, they're still analyzing the rational answers. And we've done a lot of research where we figured out that the rational answer, even if the customer really thinks that that's important, is not the thing that actually matters most to them. So that's one of the risks of a root cause analysis. Then when you're using the list or you're analyzing the open text, you get a list of topics. For example, invoicing is chosen a lot, or customer service is chosen a lot. But there are a few things that you don't know, and those things are crucial if you want to be in the driving seat of enhancing NPS or satisfaction or customer effort score. Right? For any metric that's using this way of figuring out the underlying cause, you have the same issue. Issue number one, you have a list of topics. I had one organization where we were already debating this, and then they came back to me and they said, hey, Zana, we're super happy. They had a list of, let's say, 7 root causes, and they added an 8th reason. And they came to me and they said, hey, Zana, it's really great that we did this because a lot of customers chose reason number 8. And then I said, great, that's amazing. How do you know there's not a reason number 9 or number 10 that you're not asking? Oh yeah. So the root cause is not telling you if you are complete, right? The root cause is not telling you, is your list complete or are you missing something that's important? It tends to be a very internally focused list of topics, or topics that are very hype. They are very in the news, for example, right? That we're adding these kind of topics right now because we want to know how customers are evaluating those. That's one issue. The other issue is that with that methodology, you just get the number of times, for example, that let's say invoicing is chosen. But you don't get an actual score how customers value the invoicing. And so what are companies doing? They're saying, hey, people that were giving us a very low score on NPS, they chose a lot of times invoicing. So apparently invoicing is an important driver root cause of a low NPS. And that's a very risky way to figure out what's causing something, right? So the root cause means there's a relation, right? If I do this, then this goes up. But the problem is that I challenged several organizations because they had got to the same conclusion. right? For example, I don't know, the Wi-Fi signal is a very strong driver of NPS because they compared the customers that had a very low score on NPS with high NPS, and they saw that this Wi-Fi signal was there. But then just to challenge, I did the same, right? So I said, hey, all the people that gave a very low score on, let's say the application form on the website, which doesn't tend to be a very big driver. And I compared the NPS with people rating that very well and people rating that very low. And you saw exactly the same, right? People that gave a low NPS score were also giving those the web form a low score. So they are mixing correlation with causation. Correlation is, hey, there seems to be something that has a relationship, while cause and effect is telling you, hey, this is the cause of that. Right? So for finding out what really drives satisfaction of customers, satisfaction of employees, you want to really use smart statistics and so-called driver analysis. I'll make a separate video on that. But for now, for the root cause, what's really important to understand is, okay, I'm not a fan of NPS as such, other video as well. But if you use NPS, if you use satisfaction, that's fine, right? The key is that you want to understand how can I enhance it. And that's where I'm saying I can live with you keeping the NPS question as such, but please delete the whole root cause technique. Right? Don't have a list of topics I can choose from. Don't just have an open text. Use smart statistics to really figure out, hey, personal attention is 5 times more impactful than the ease of using the website. Right? Again, I'll dive into that in other videos. But for now, the message, if you're using the root cause technique, there's a good chance that you've been improving based on the number one things that were causing the NPS, but you're not really seeing an effect. If that's you, then take my advice, delete the whole root cause methodology, and keep measuring the NPS because your board probably wants to have the trend in NPS, but replace it with a real driver analysis.